Hey guys, and welcome back to Agrarian Skies. As I said, since last time I've done some stuff. Ta-da! So, using the slab furnace I produced charcoal, and thus produced torches. So I expanded the platform. It's now a 9 by 9, well 3 by 3, so 9 in total, tree farm. Which is sufficient for the moment, I think. My food situation is also looking quite well. I have 25 apples, 7 carrots, and 14 cooked silkworms. And you just take the silkworms you get, put them in a furnace, and you get cooked silkworm. It only heals half a hunger bar. As in half a sort of bit of hunger bar. Yeah. But I think it has a high saturation, so it lasts for a long time. And I'm no longer bone mealing the trees. You start off with 3 stacks of bone meal, and obviously the only way to get more of it at the moment really is, would be by making a mob tower and farming skeletons. I guess alternatively I could, oh dear, another big one. I could, what's its face? I could do dust sieving. That's what I wanted to say. Because if you sieve dust, you also get a chance at least at bone meal. And I have 14 saplings as well. I will take care of these trees after I'm done showing you my progress, I guess. It's rained at least once, so I think it's actually been raining twice, but I have 4 of these barrels now filled with water. These 2 barrels, if you check, they are standing in a desert biome. Desert and desert, so no rain. So they will not accumulate water, which is good because I need some for making dirt anyway. Now, I wanted to show you 2 things actually. I caught a fish. Now this red herring doesn't count for the quest, but there is a quest right here, fishing trip, which requires that you catch a raw fish. And I did that. I have currently got the water sources covered up, but the water sources are right below. So I stood here, I threw the hook almost straight up so it landed in the water, and then I just did the fishing thing. And back here I put a little tiny bit of farmland for growing carrots. There's a mod in here. I suspect it's that hunger overhaul thing, but basically instead of punching it, right-clicking, left-clicking it, and then having to replant it, I can right-click the crop, and I only get the harvest. I think that was, I don't know, 5 carrots maybe, a decent amount, and the sapling basically it just goes back to 0% growth. And so I have 9 of these. I'm not certain if 9 is quite enough for sustaining me, but and that was 6. So you get quite a lot of carrots, more than you get in vanilla. I'm not sure if 3 by 3 is enough, but I can always expand this once I have buckets, which I will get eventually. And there was one other thing. I made 3 more cobblestone by sifting dirt, getting stones, turning them into cobblestone, and then I smelted the cobblestone. And now I will make a pressure plate and use the stone and a pressure plate to make a juicer. And this pretty much doubles the amount of food I currently get, because the juicer is obviously, it's from Pam's Harvest Craft base, which is just tons of food stuff. Let me check if it actually comes up under Harvest Craft. Most of it doesn't. Okay. I can just check for meal, I think, and that's, yeah. There's lots of foodstuffs. Oh, Hunger Overhaul is the one where most of it looks to come from. Yeah. So you get a lot of things you can do. And it's pretty complicated, some of the recipes you can get. So for example here I have a delighted meal, I think that's a reference to a Happy Meal. So that's counts as a feast, which feast fills what, 6 hunger bars things. It gives you a lot of hunger essentially. And to make that, you need fries and some sort of smoothie and a deluxe cheeseburger. And then the deluxe cheeseburger is a normal cheeseburger and lettuce and tomato, and a normal cheeseburger is a hamburger and cheese, and a hamburger is either meat or tofu and toast in a skillet, and toast is, is melting a piece of bread, and a piece of bread you can make from the normal recipe, or you can smelt a ball of dough, and a ball of dough is water, salt, and flour is from wheat. You get the point. It's a fairly extensive food system. What I can do, however, is just combine the juicer with an apple to get apple juice. For some reason I get bottles out of nowhere, but the apple juice is now in a bottle, basically. But I don't actually get glass bottles from this, it's just a minor detail. And I can also make carrot juice. And the carrots and the apples themselves counted as morsels, so filling half a hunger. And apple juice and carrot juice are unfulfilling snacks, which heal for 1 hunger each. Those are some huge trees. Well, this one's a huge tree. So that's pretty much the food situation covered, at least for the moment. That should be sufficient. I still have a bunch of crooks, so I'll keep using them for the moment. Eventually I can stop and just let the leaves decay naturally. Now what I need to do actually, let's see how much this will give me, because I need to sieve. There's also a sifter, so sieving and sifting isn't quite the same. It's a little confusing. Oh, potato seeds, very nice. Very nice indeed. And I also have a pumpkin seed, which is good. And I think last time I already got a grass seed. But what I need to do now is make cobblestone. I should have a hammer in here. Now, the hammer is quite useful early on. There was a little bit of a lag spike there, but that's fine. Now, if I use the hammer to break cobblestone, I don't get cobblestone back. I get gravel, which I can put down again. And if I use the hammer to break gravel, I don't get gravel, but sand. And if I put sand down and break that with a hammer, I get dust. Dust does not go any further, so dust is basically the end of that process. Now I can put the dust into these barrels full of water and I get clay. Clay I can obviously put down, and I think punching it works. That should give me 12 actual clay item things. Now I need my bone meal. I need 7 of those. Because I can combine clay and bone meal to make porcelain clay. And I make a bucket out of clay, gives me an unfired clay bucket, and making a barrel kind of shape gives me an unfired crucible. And I think that should be another quest. Actually, I can claim a reward for this one. I don't know which one of these reward bags is any good, so I'll just go for the last one. I'm done with the be resourceful thing, so I made cobblestone, turn it into gravel, turn it into sand, turn it into dust, which means I get this reward bag. Whenever possible I go for the reward bags because they feel the most interesting, but there are some quests where I will definitely get a different thing. So I have those 2 unfired things, which means I can now claim a reward again. Good, and that second bit of that quest is what required me to make a slab furnace, but I had already done that. Now, okay, 3 basic reward bags. Oh well, a quarter of a heart, half a heart. Not too fussed about using those hearts as soon as they become available. Cobblestone I'm going to keep. I should really make another chest. And I will become very much out of space quite soon. For now I can put down the chest here and just dump more stuff into it. And these unfired things obviously want to be fired, so let's see. Oh, I got a bunch of... I don't think it's such a terrible reward, really. It'll be interesting later on for beekeeping, I guess, to have the flowers and such. And I also want the crucible fired. I got a hill cherry sapling, again, kind of irrelevant. And a sound muffler. Wow, I am fairly unlucky this time around. I've had better runs, definitely. But you can't really do much about it. Cobwebs, I don't think there's much of a use for them. The silkworms I'm storing, and whenever I have 9 or so, I take out 8 and smelt them. The sound muffler, I think you no longer get one by default. I think you used to. Okay, but that's fine. Now, the way a crucible works, it's a way of getting lava. Because right now, the only way to get cobble for us would be to keep making dirt and keep sieving the dirt and getting stones out of it, combining them into cobblestone. Pretty lengthy process. So a better way, I guess, to go about it is obviously to make a cobble generator. But to make a cobble generator, well, we need lava, which we don't currently have. So the developer of this mod did think of that. Do I have... No, I don't. Okay. I thought maybe there would be a little more depth to this than just one block, but there isn't. I might be around here, but I don't really want to risk it. I'm really out of space. Well, temporarily it'll be fine here. A torch is pretty much the slowest thing you can use, but a crucible requires some kind of heat source underneath it. And the hotter the heat source, the faster the crucible will work. A torch makes it 0.1 MB per tick. We'll see what that means in a bit. Obviously, you could use lava, you could use just burning netherrack, so just fire. And there is something called blazing pyrotheum, which is even faster. I think you can get it all the way up to 0.7 MB per tick. But right now, all I want to do is take a cobblestone to show you how it works. So I put in cobblestone, and as you can see, it is slowly being converted to lava. And 4 cobblestone are needed to make a bucket of lava, so it's slow. It's less of a yield than if you use a crucible furnace. But I only need 1 bucket of lava. The thing is, if I use this clay bucket to move lava, it'll become it'll break. I can only use lava with it once. Any other material, like water for example, can you move water for forever, it won't break, but lava, because it's so hot, it'll break the bucket. And that's only for the clay bucket. If I make an iron bucket, of course, that'll work just like it does in vanilla. But yeah, I think I'll make another cut here. I'll take down these trees, hopefully get enough saplings to get more dirt, turn that dirt into cobblestone, and make a bucket of lava. And then, problem is, I don't really have any place to put a cobblestone generator. Because everything's made of wood, because it's the one material I actually have a lot of, so I may end up having to use dirt to make a lava generator, because dirt doesn't burn, so yeah. But I'll do that in a bit, and I'll see you when it's done. And here we go! Just a, I guess, very makeshift, but technically functional cobblestone generator. I haven't actually tried it out, it might still fail horribly. I had to use, I think, 8 blocks of dirt and the remainder of my slabs. And, yeah, it kind of works. It's not very fast, as you can see. I mean, it's a cobblestone generator. What I'm currently doing is I'm using the hammer to break it so that I get gravel out of it. Because I can then put the gravel in here and sift through it. My bucket is obviously broken. I used it to move the lava. As you can see, the crucible is now empty. I know that the half slab here works just fine. It works just like a full block, no problem, but it doesn't feel safe. So what I'll actually do is no, I need a bucket first, so I will need a bunch of gravel. I would also need a block back there that doesn't break so easily, because that happens. I'm not sure. How's the hammer on wood? Actually, yeah, thank you. Placing wood there is not a particularly smart option. As it stands, I can't just hold down, can't just hold the left click down because I'll break the dirt, which would be sad. And I will need a bunch of this stuff. How about this? I will make a stack of gravel. And then I will go through it and show you what I've got after that. See you in a bit. Good news, everyone! I have stuff. So what I got, I made some wooden hammers, by the way, after the stone one. I made stone ones after the wooden one ran out. That should be the correct way around. Did any of my... Oh, 3 more carrots grew. Based on my current experiences, this patch of carrots is enough as a sustainable food source. I am now over a stack of carrot juice. Yes. I will live on carrot juice for the foreseeable future then. In my other world that I played, which I think I'll show you a bit of that in just a moment. Maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, I started living on bread all the time, and now all I'm eating is deluxe cheeseburgers. So I got some coal, bit of lapis. I got some flint, which is good because it's what I need to maintain my axe. Quicksilver and amber, as I said, kind of pointless. Apatite as well. But I also got some of this broken ore. And actually, before I do this, I will need to make a chest for all this junk. Let's make it a double chest. It's probably not enough, but it'll do. Okay. It's really all I can do at the moment before I need to expand this further, but I'll do that in between episodes. So these broken ore things I can basically combine into ore gravels, and 4 of them make one of the gravels. And I think the leftover tin and lead and all that I can just put away. Don't have enough platinum yet to make even a single ore gravel thing, but platinum is quite rare, so that does make sense. And the way it'll work later on, once I've automated all this stuff, I will just take this ore gravel and smelt it, because it can be smelted. This is only for the ore, so yeah. Definitely running low on storage, I know, and something will be done about that. As I said, I can now take, for example, this nickel ore. I can just put it in the furnace, smelt it, and I will have nickel, a nickel ingot. Or depending on how I smelt it, there's multiple things that are equal to nickel, but they've got different names. So I think nickel is also ferrous ingots. But they work the same. All the recipes work fine with both versions. It just depends on which method I use to create it. Essentially, if I use Tinker's Construct, it comes out as nickel. If I use the other method, it comes out as ferrous. I don't quite know, but that's the gist of it. Depending on what you use, different stuff comes out. Now, I have a quest that I worked on, as you can see. This is basically explaining this all to us, but I'm better at explaining than a silly little quest text. Speaking of which, the foodstuffs is running low. Well, I can now afford having a full hunger bar at all times. So I've got this 1 iron ore gravel, and the next step in the process is iron ore, or any ore, sand. And so in order to work on that, I shall pile myself up using the good old stacking. Any Minecraft player will be familiar with this strategy of getting up to places. But really, I'm just using it to, I don't know, because I can. And this is the most fun way of doing it. And now I'm hammering this gravel. And as you can see, I'm getting things from that. And that's crushed ore. Now again, the crushed stuff can be combined into sands. But I get a bit of a bonus. There's a chance that when I destroy a block using the hammer, I usually get 4 of the lower level stuff. So if I put a ore gravel down and I hammer it, I tend to get 4 of the crushed ore of that type. But there's a chance I get 5 or maybe even 6 instead. So doing it this way, I have a chance of getting more resources out of it. But it also involves putting in the work, having to stack up and having to hammer all the stuff down. But the things I'm now putting away, these nickel ore, lead ore, all this stuff, the crushed things, those were leftovers because I got bonuses from hammering. Again, this is something I do now in the beginning when resources are really scarce. And this is all the iron and metal and such that I have. As we progress and I'm automating all these things, because that's what this mod is really all about, automating all the things. As I progress through it, I will stop caring about that, and it'll end up being just a matter of combining it as quickly as possible and just shoving it into a furnace. Because there's I just get so much of it using the automation that the extra effort in automating the hammering and such, it just wouldn't be worth it. Now, the next step of the quest should be done, and finally ore dust. And I'm sure you have figured out by now how that'll work. Again, we combine them into 4s to make these iron ore dust blocks, or whatever ore dust blocks, and there's no more hammering involved. This is now basically us done, and again we got a bonus of some lead, all that stuff. Some lead, copper, aluminium, nickel, silver, and tin. And these things are now essentially the final level. And these I can put into a smeltery or an oven or anything, a furnace, and smelt them into the appropriate ingots. And that should be this quest done. I can now choose the second reward bag. I still don't know which of the reward bags is the correct one in each instance, by the way. And that's another basic one. Up, and I get some fish jerky. This would be useful if you are running out of food, which in the beginning you might well do. But since I got quite lucky getting the carrot seeds and having that patch and all that, food isn't really an issue at the moment. I think I'm doing okay. So, yeah. Main thing I wanted to do, of course, is I wanted to smelt the iron. Because that'll enable me to, well, it'll give me 4 iron. And I could then make a bucket to move this whole thing elsewhere once I've done some more just picking, I guess. And this is actually a slightly better pick, but it's fine. It doesn't get experience for some reason. I think it's because it's a special quest reward thing. I don't know. Anyway, I think what I'll do for next time is I'll definitely do some more of this graveling and making more stuff so that I have some resources. probably spend about an hour on it actually, and I'll make some stone as well, build something a little less disgusting looking than this cobble generator, and I guess I'll be seeing you then. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.